Brain fog isn't just annoying, it's life-altering. Words disappear mid-sentence. It's like someone dimmed the lights in your brain and forgot to turn them back on. In my last video, I broke down 6 root causes of brain fog and post-viral illness. Now we'll go through each one by one and look at ways to manage it. First, a recap of the last video. Let's start with neuroinflammation. This is the foundation of brain fog. PET scans show it, autopsy reports confirm it, and anyone living with post-viral illness can feel it. Inflammation in the brain slows processing, disrupts signaling, and contributes to that heavy, disconnected feeling. So how do we calm it? One way is through compounds that reduce inflammation and cross the blood-brain barrier. These include antioxidants like curcumin, resveratrol, and sulforaphane. Curcumin, of course, is the active compound in the spice turmeric. Resveratrol comes from the skin of grapes, and sulforaphane is the super antioxidant found in my favorite vegetable, broccoli. Believe it or not, these compounds have a mountain of research behind them. But there's a catch. These compounds have exceptionally poor bioavailability. They must be formulated in phytosomal or liposomal forms. These forms improve absorption and brain penetration. Without it, there is zero chance that these supplements will ever reach your brain to have an effect calming neuroinflammation. Liposomal curcumin has been shown to reduce microglial activation, those overactive immune cells of the brain. Resveratrol helps modulate inflammatory gene expression in the brain, and sulforaphane supports glutathione production and reduces oxidative stress. Think of these 3 as multitaskers, calming inflammation, mopping up free radicals, and protecting your neurons from further damage. I recommend choosing well-absorbed forms from reputable brands. If you don't have the budget for liposomal forms, don't waste your money on alternatives. They simply won't work. Zombie cells, or senescent cells, are like bad house guests. They don't help with anything, they make a mess, they just won't go away, and they release signals that inflame everything around them. In post-mortem COVID studies, scientists found 7 times more senescent cells in brain tissue. These cells are believed to contribute to both neuroinflammation and cognitive symptoms in long COVID. So what can be done? Enter senolytics. These are compounds that help your body clear out those lingering cells. They break up or lyse the old senile cells, hence the term senolytic. There are clinical trials underway using these agents in an effort to help those with long COVID. Most senolytics are pharmaceutical drugs, but what is interesting is that in the clinical trials, these drugs are paired with a natural compound, and the 2 most common ones are quercetin and fisetin. Quercetin is found in red onions and capers. It's a flavonoid with both antioxidant and senolytic activity. Fisetin is found in strawberries and apples and may actually be even more potent, according to animal models. Both of these can cross the blood-brain barrier, and while human trials are still early, they show promise for clearing senescent cells and restoring healthier brain function. Yet again, I suggest using liposomal forms. Bioavailability is an issue for all antioxidant compounds, and if you try them, keep the dose below 1 gram per day, unless otherwise advised. These aren't miracle cures, but they are promising tools in your long-term strategy. Glutamate is the brain's main excitatory neurotransmitter. In balance, it helps us focus, think clearly, and stay alert. But when levels are too high, or the brain can't regulate it properly, glutamate becomes overstimulating. This state is called excitotoxicity. It's been documented in ME/CFS, long COVID, and fibromyalgia. Too much glutamate can worsen brain fog, mental fatigue, sensory sensitivity, and that wired but tired feeling. One of the best ways to help regulate glutamate is through ketones, specifically beta-hydroxybutyrate, a ketone that supports the conversion of glutamate into its calming counterpart, glutamine. You don't have to follow a strict ketogenic diet to raise ketones. Small amounts of MCT oil, intermittent fasting, or short-term cyclical keto can help, as long as you are on a low-carb diet. And for those who can't tolerate dietary shifts, exogenous ketones are another option. These are supplemental forms of beta-hydroxybutyrate, and they can raise ketone levels quickly. You can read more about those on my blog. Other nutrients support this system too. Magnesium is essential for the enzyme that converts glutamate and ammonia into glutamine, a key step in reducing both excitotoxicity and brain ammonia levels. Taurine is a sulfur-containing amino acid, and it's gaining attention in long COVID protocols for its neuroprotective effects. Taurine can reduce glutamate-induced excitotoxicity, stabilize calcium signaling in neurons, and support mitochondrial function. It also has antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects, which may help buffer the brain during post-viral recovery. And for some, simply a low glutamate diet may help reduce exposures to external glutamate sources. It's not always necessary and should be approached carefully. Lactate isn't just a byproduct of exercise. The brain can produce it too, especially when mitochondrial function is impaired and neurons rely more on glycolysis, a less efficient energy pathway. Elevated brain lactate has been documented in ME/CFS patients using magnetic resonance spectroscopy, or MRS. It's been linked to mental fatigue, reduced cognitive flexibility, and post-exertional malaise. This is where acetyl-L-carnitine, or ALCAR, becomes potentially useful. ALCAR shuttles long-chain fatty acids into mitochondria so that they can be oxidized for energy. This bypasses the inefficient pathways that lead to lactate buildup. In multiple clinical trials, ALCAR has improved fatigue, mental clarity, and memory, especially in conditions involving mitochondrial stress or impaired detoxification like liver disease. One study in patients with chronic liver disease shows that ALCAR not only improved fatigue, but also lowered blood ammonia, which, as we've discussed, can contribute to cognitive dysfunction. Often in this setting, ALCAR is given intravenously. ALCAR also supports acetylcholine production, which is essential for focus and memory. It can cross the blood-brain barrier and is generally well tolerated, even up to 2 grams per day. Though, as always, start low and go slow. As discussed in the first video, gut-derived gases like ammonia, methane, and hydrogen sulfide can impair cognition when produced in excess. We've already covered the mechanisms. Now look at what you can actually do about it. Start by improving microbial diversity. That means feeding beneficial bacteria, especially bifidobacteria, with prebiotic fibers from whole foods, chicory root, dandelion greens, bitter foods, resistant starches from green bananas or cooled potatoes. These foods can help reshape the gut microenvironment over time. In more stubborn cases, a short course of rifaximin, a gut-specific antibiotic, may be appropriate. It stays in the GI tract and has been shown to reduce both bacterial overproduction and ammonia production. That's a conversation to have with your doctor. There also might be instances where a probiotic or a symbiotic could be helpful. These aren't overnight changes. Shifting your gut microbiome requires consistency and daily choices over weeks and months. If you're unsure where to start, this is where working with a qualified nutritionist, such as myself, can make the difference, especially if you have complex symptoms or food sensitivities. When oxidative stress hits the brain, it damages more than just neurons. It breaks down the lipid membranes that protect them. And once these membranes start to fail, signaling becomes erratic and energy metabolism suffers. To repair and stabilize those membranes, your brain needs phospholipids. These are specialized fats that make up the structural backbone of brain cells. There are a few types of phospholipids worth knowing. The first is phosphatidylserine. This supports memory, focus, and mood. Phosphatidylcholine maintains structural integrity. Phosphatidylethanolamine aids in neural signaling and repair. And then there's phosphatidic acid, which is a precursor to all of them. These lipids cross the blood-brain barrier, and they integrate directly into neuronal membranes, helping restore function at the cellular level. The most potent form of these therapies is Liposome forte, which is an injectable phospholipid formula available by prescription in some countries. Oral forms are more accessible and still clinically meaningful. In several clinical trials, oral phosphatidylserine at 300 milligrams per day improved memory, attention, and mood in elderly patients with cognitive decline. One larger trial in Alzheimer's patients showed statistically significant improvements in cognitive performance over 3 months' time. These studies weren't done in ME/CFS or long COVID, but similar mechanisms are involved, making the findings highly relevant in post-viral conditions. If you're considering supplementing with phospholipids, look for formulas like Lipogen PS+, which combines phosphatidylserine and phosphatidic acid, a combination that has been used in some clinical trials. Just to also be clear, I'm not affiliated with that company in any way. You can also increase phospholipid intake naturally through foods like egg yolks, soy, and fatty fish. And don't forget about DHA, a brain-focused omega-3 fatty acid that breaks down into phospholipids and helps reinforce brain cell structure. For those with brain fog driven by mitochondrial stress or membrane instability, phospholipids are a promising, low-risk place to start. The last point is environmental exposures, like mold toxins or air pollutants. You'll remember pesticides and mycotoxins can activate microglia and prolong neuroinflammation. The best intervention here is avoidance, and I'll be covering mold more specifically in a future video, most likely. So that's it, some strategies to combat brain fog grounded in real research. It's also important to remember that brain fog isn't caused by just one thing. It's a breakdown across multiple systems: immune, metabolic, neurological, environmental, gastrointestinal. But when you understand the underlying mechanisms, you can make targeted action. Everyone responds differently, and everyone will have a different point of entry based on their symptoms. Let's look at a recap. None of this is quick or easy, but it is possible. If you haven't seen my first video on the causes of brain fog, watch that next. And if you want more evidence-based support for ME/CFS, fibromyalgia, or long COVID, subscribe and visit my site for detailed guides and more helpful resources. I'll see you in the next video.